Well, hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. My name is Cheryl Abernathy, and I'm the owner of Elegant Sentiments Today. And today I am sharing with you weekly card share number 29. So come on into my craft room and let's get started. Okay. So for today, we're going to be using Flirty Flamingo ink, and then two of the Basics 3D embossing folders. They actually come with a set of three, but we're just going to be using these two, and you can get these only in the online store. If you don't have these, I would highly recommend that you get them. They are really, really nice embossing folders. And then we're going to be using the Notes of Nature bundle. This is a stamp set and coordinating die combination. And we're only going to use one stamp in today's project. That'll be this stamp. And for our dies, we're only using, I want to check and make sure. Yep, we're using this die. And then this is the outline die for that stamp that I just showed you. So those are the products that we are going to, core products that we're going to be using today. Let me move these out of the way and show you the project. This is our project for today. It's got lots of shine because of the sentiment is hot foiled, and then I die cut the leaves in foil and then stamped. For this sample, I used Melon Mambo, but for the the card we're gonna make today, I'm gonna use Flirty Flamingo. So there's our sample. And for this project, you'll need a piece of foam adhesive, and it needs to be a little shorter or smaller than 3.5 by, you know what? I didn't even measure that. Let me measure that and tell you what it is. I think it's 3.5 by 4 3/4, but yep, I'm right, 3.5 by 4 3/4. So you want to cut that foam piece a little bit smaller than that because it'll go behind that. And then we'll need a medium envelope, a basic white envelope. We'll need an A2 card base made with thick basic white cardstock. And then this is the 3.5 by 4 3/4 piece of white cardstock that I embossed using the Basics 3D embossing folder. Just this one here. So I went ahead and embossed that. And then let's see, what did I die cut? 3 of the leaves out of silver foil. Get these picked up. And then, so we have 3 of those. And then this is a hot foil stamp. I used this in my, I think it was on my blog post Friday, the card that I had, but this is an embossed or a foiled sentiment. I'm loving these foiled sentiments. Ever since I got my hot foil machine, I just love it. So most of my sentiments are going to be probably hot foiled going forward, but we'll still do some stamping in between. And then for these, I just stamped this flower and then die cut it out. And I did that 3 times. So I have three of those. And then I embossed my panel, and this is the Flirty Flamingo. It's 4 by 5 1/4, and I embossed that with actually this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I went ahead and embossed that with this other embossing folder, this other Basics 3D embossing folder. So if you can yeah, you can kind of see that embossing a bit there. So that's what I did there. And then this is the piece for the inside. So we can go ahead and start by stamping that. And let me get my little scrap paper here. And I've already mounted my stamp, and we'll just stamp across the bottom of this, and it'll go on the inside of our little note card. Okay. And I don't want the whole flower, so we'll just do this 3 times across the bottom, and then in between we'll just do a little stamp off. There we go. So that's our inside, and then we'll do the same thing for the envelope. I didn't stamp that ahead of time, so we'll go ahead and do that now. And I just did, again, one stamp, and then I stamp off on either side, and we'll flip that around and do the same thing that we did across the bottom. And this time we'll show a little bit more of the stamp. And let's see, I think I want these coming in just a wee bit. And then we'll stamp off. And that takes care of the envelope. So move that out of the way and close up this stamp pad. And then we're ready to get this out. And we can go ahead and put our card together. Really simple. All of my cards are will always be simple. And they almost always will include a flower because I love flowers. And let's see, get some adhesive going here, and we'll put the inside of our card together first. And I like doing florals. They're just my favorite. You could never go wrong with flowers in my mind. And every now and again I'll sneak in some masculine cards because I do have a few men in my sons at this point now that I will create cards for. There we go. And I'm going to burnish that. Get those edges nice and smooth. Okay, so we have that done. Go ahead and burnish the card base too while I'm at it. Okay, so all we need to do then is put down the, make sure I'm doing the right side here. I like the textured side, the embossed side up, but the debossed side is just as nice. So whatever you prefer, but I'll go with the embossed side facing up on this Flirty Flamingo cardstock. That is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and it gives you that nice teeny little border of white on your cardstock, on your card front. So we'll go ahead and get that. And then I'll go ahead and put the foam adhesive on the back of my embossed 3 1/2 by 4 3/4 panel. And yeah, so it's just, as you can see, there I've got some room around that panel because I don't want it all the way at the edge. And then when you go to put this down, you want to take your time, because once that adhesive strip hits, it is pretty much on there. And I'm really bad about having it be just ever so crooked. So hopefully we can actually get this one straight. That looks pretty good. Okay, So then to figure out where I wanted my florals, I just set my sentiment down there in the center and then just played around with where I wanted these to go. And you may want to, depending upon how you want your flowers to go, you may want to cut this silver leaf a bit so it doesn't poke. Well, depending upon what kind of sentiment you use, it may not matter. But for this one, because there is that space between the lettering, I'm going to trim that a little bit. But I just want to, boy, me and these fingernails today are having a little challenge. And then this, I want this up. And same with this one, but I want this on top. So I put these in next and just kind of eyeball it to see where I want it to go. And do the same with this. And then this one, originally I had it in between the two flowers, and I really liked having this die cut flower on top just because it's so delicate and it's got so much dimension to it. So that kind of looks about where I want it. So lift this up and out of my way, hopefully. And I am going to die cut this piece, trim this piece just a little bit because I don't want to risk that stem showing. And put a little glue on the back. I didn't glue this all the way down because I really wanted the leaves to be able to move around some. Okay, so I'll put that down there. And it doesn't have to be completely exact, but at least you have a kind of a starting point to know that things are going to end up kind of where you want them before. Then what I'll do is, and I didn't do this when I made this one, but I'm going to make a little wrap of twine. So I'm just wrapping, this is just DMC silver thread that I bought at the craft store. Get it anywhere. And me and this twine, we always argue all the time. But I kind of twist it around my fingers and then twist it into a bow. And then I'll grab a glue dot and stick the glue dot on this twine in the center and then put that down. That's my intent anyway. So we'll see, because this twine never wants to do what I want it to do. It's got a mind of its own. But eventually, I try to prevail over the twine. And sometimes I win and sometimes I don't. But today I think we're going to be okay. And we'll trim off these little loose pieces. Well, get back there. Maybe we won't be winning. This twine never lets me be great. I'm trying to be great. There we go. Okay, so I'll just trim off this little excess piece there. And then I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, except that I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go ahead. I put this down with dimensionals. So let me grab my mini dimensionals and put those on the back. And we'll go ahead and then put this up. And as always, I use way more dimensionals than I probably need, but I use enough to make sure that it's not going anywhere and it's not going to sink in the mail. That would be the worst thing to me. And I just put enough to cover up have my sentiment be where I want it to be. And then take those off. Maybe take those off. And after I get them, oops, is that one still on there? Yeah, that's still on there. All right, so then we can go ahead and put this down. And you want to, again, this, oops, excuse me, sorry about my head there. This will be, once you put it down, don't push. I try not to push until I know I've got it where I want it, because they like to stay once they're down. Okay, so with that one down, then you can go ahead. You've got a little more room to play around and get these other flowers where you want them. And I just kind of slide it in there. And you could probably even get away with only one of these little flower bunches, but I like the look of it being nice and full down there. So put a couple of those there. And we'll take the third flower that we die cut, that we stamped and die cut, and just stick that in there too. Right up in there like that. And then we'll put this one on the top, because no real reason. I just like it. But if you prefer to have them alternating, that I'm sure would be just as beautiful. But I like them. And then I just use my little pick to make sure that it's actually pushed down there. And then we will fight with the twine one more time. Just do a few wraps around. I said, I'm sure there's an art to doing this twine. I just have not figured it out, but I like it looking kind of like a bow. So I think that's where my problem comes in. Instead of just, okay, where'd my dots go? Here we go. Okay, I'll put that dot on. Well, what happened to my twist? I had a twist. There's the twist. Okay. So we will try to get the dot on the twist and not my fingers. And if you have ideas on how to do this more easily, we got it on there. Okay. And then we'll just stick that about there, because we're going to put some embellishments on the center of, oops. Now I want to make sure that all of my twists are sticking to my glue dot. And try and do that without completely unraveling my bow. There we go. That's close enough, because I can use my gem to cover the rest of it. Get out of there. And there. Let that little piece hang down like that. And then we'll use the, I used a big gem on this lower one. These are the rhinestone basic jewels, and I used a big one of those down here on the bottom, right where I want these to meet, like that. There we go. And then I used the little dots, the smallest ones, every place else, and I just kind of stuck them around where I thought I would like them. And that's the nice things about this. If you don't push them down too hard, you've got some wiggle room to play around and see what you like. I'm sorry, I got the hiccups. I don't know where that's coming from. Lord knows I don't need to be doing any growing. We've done enough of that. Okay, let's see. We'll stick one up in there. And not that kind of growing. No physical growing. We can grow stronger mentally and physically for sure, but this body don't need any more big. Okay, so it looks like we have, let me get all these pieces off of here. I bought this new little mat so that I can protect my glass mat when I'm doing stuff. However, it does not like my fingernails. So I spend more time getting stuff off of it. I'm not sure if it's worth the effort or not. But there we go. Got most of it out of the way anyway. Okay. And find what we did with our envelope. And we can put them together. Got two of the same card. One is in Melon Mambo, and the other one is in Flirty Flamingos. We have two springy colors for today's project. I hope that you liked today's card. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. If you like the card, please give me a thumbs up. And I hope that you'll come back next week and maybe we can do a giveaway. We'll see. But anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed to my blog yet, please do that, elegantsentiments.com. I'll be posting there tomorrow, so you can stop by and see what I have created for tomorrow's blog. Again, thank you so much for coming. We hope to see you next week. Until then, live graciously and bye for now.